Hi YouTube, this is Shauna. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm giving you natural brown skin girl vibes, rocking my natural little fro. Basically I'm here for a story time. I know you guys wanted to know the story about why I didn't, well, it was an equal vote between Instagram and Facebook. Oh, my lips, hold on. No, baby. But yeah, okay. The story that I'm gonna tell today though, because this one's just a quick little story. Basically the story was about how my high school teacher called me a bitch. I'm gonna start this off by saying I graduated high school in 2012, so it's 2021, so it's been a minute, you know, it's been a minute, almost 10 years, so I'm not really tripping about it now. But this was my senior year when this happened, and no, I didn't tell my mama, and no, I didn't tell nobody. Like, this was just, let's just start it. So I was in marching band, and I was a senior, like I said. I had a band teacher, we're gonna call teacher, and he always had like a little, he was a little extra. He always had a little attitude. He always had a little pep to his step. And so he always was just known for being like trying to fit in with the students. He's always been that way. And so he was cool. Like, I remember when I first started marching band, I was in 10th grade. And I was really rude to him, like, all the time. Low key. Like, not all. I was just being like a typical teenager. But my mouth, like, I had a smart mouth. And so I would, basically, I didn't play that. Like, don't play with me, I won't play with you. So I would always come back with the clapbacks. And towards the end of 10th grade, I decided that I wanted to do drumline. I always wanted to play bass drum, but I started off with clarinet because it was just easy, and I didn't want to like hold nothing, or I didn't want to do nothing difficult. So I chose what I thought would be like the easiest instrument, which was a clarinet. And it wasn't even that damn easy. But anyways, so I had chose clarinet, and after a while got tired and wanted to do drums. He wasn't having that. He's like, no, you chose one thing, you need to stay in that lane. And I'm like, for what? You know what I'm saying? Like, so he never would agree. And so the only opportunity that I had to play the drums was to audition for drumline. Okay, so before you audition for drumline, which is like, drumline basically is like the percussion line. And you can Google it if I missed out on something, and if I did, you know what I'm talking about, you could just put it down there. But yeah, basically it was just a line, and we were in high school, we would go to competition, it would be fun, it was a great weekend away, and I wanted to be a part of that. And so I decided to condition and train and learn, and I was so eager, very eager. And basically I was too eager. I got nervous and I did not make it. He told me no. I was pissed. I cried. I was mad. He gave me cymbals. I was like, I don't want to play no fucking cymbals. I want to play the bass drum. And so I quit that marching band, and I went to another school, and I got to play drums. I got to play all the fucking drums. And it basically prepared me to like go back. And obviously that wasn't the plan. I just didn't want to keep going back and forth between Hollywood and Gardena. So I chose to just go back to where I came from. And so I went back to Gardena my senior year, and things had changed a lot. Basically, he was always, like I said, a little spicy, but he comes out, he gay. You know what I'm saying? So he living his truth. So he real extra now. I'm on some kumbaya shit. I'm not trying to be like crazy. I also want to graduate. So I'm not really trying to be too crazy coming back. And so I come back, and it seemed like instantly, like from the start, he had beef. Like, he always had some slick to say to me. He was always looking at me, always had like just something. And I ended up, I was a senior, so I was able to pick more than one elective. I chose to do marching band and beginner band, so he had no choice but to like let me try something new. But I chose to play trumpet because right after that I auditioned for the drum line and I fucking got in. So I didn't have to, you know, I didn't have to do that no more and beg him. But like, even then, he tried to play me from the start, like, oh, if when I let you, like, you have to listen, da da da. Like, don't play with me. Don't play with me. Like, I got in because I got in. I was good. I probably really wasn't that good. But basically, like, we got in. I got in. I started doing the drum line. While I was doing drum line, we still had marching band. And in marching band, we did competitions. So we were doing competitions at the time and we were practicing a lot. Plus we had football games, basketball games, like, man. So basically, I believe this was doing drumline practice. There was this girl I did not like. And so I never liked the girl. She started talking to the guy that I liked. And obviously back in high school, I didn't have the balls to tell this kid I liked him. And honestly, I had no business liking someone who was a freshman any damn ways while I was a freaking senior. But whatever. Basically, she started dating him or whatever. So we had a little beef. I didn't like her. And so everything she did bothered me. Her breathing bothered me. Like, her life just bothered me. And so me and her had got into it or whatever. And he take it upon, he like, oh, y'all need to calm down. Like, you need to chill. Like, why are you acting like that? I'm like, acting like what? And he's like, you're acting like bitches. You're acting like bitches. And so the girl, she, you know, she basically, she's like, I laughed it off, honestly. I laughed it off because I'm like, wait, did you just like, what? Did you just call me a bitch? Like, what the fuck? And, so I was like, what? And he's like, you're being a bitch. Like, you guys are being bitches. You're being a bitch right now. So I got pissed. And like, what made me more mad was the fact that no one else said anything. There were other adult, like there was another adult in the room, I believe, that was his student at one point. But anywho, yeah, so he basically is like, oh, they were just like, oh, laughing, the boys. In the drama, it was me and her and probably two other girls. And they were not there. It was just me, her, and I believe one other girl. And she wasn't paying attention. She didn't care. But yeah, I was pissed. And like, my friend afterwards, he's just like, that's wrong. Like, that's wrong. Can't believe he did that. And like, I remember being so like humiliated and angry, but I didn't react the way I normally would have because even me back then, I was with the shits. I would have fought him, you know? But something in me just stopped and I didn't react. And I wish I would have, honestly, because that was so disrespectful. You're a grown-ass man and I was a fucking 16-year-old girl and you call me a bitch. You call me a bitch. First, like, that's just, like, wow. And he wasn't even apologizing. He did not apologize for it at all until another student who was Hispanic was like, oh, that was wrong what you did. He gave me a weak ass sorry, like, I'm sorry. Like, he was a little ass kid. He never really apologized. Never. And like, to this day, never apologized. And even after I graduated, like, because shit was weird after that. I did not really want to be around him. I felt really disrespected. I didn't feel like valued. He left me out of the yearbook when it came to leave my comments. He didn't remind me, so I missed out. He basically like didn't really give a fuck about me. And that's like fine. He's a teacher. It's not his job. But the fact that he clearly showed favoritism for other students, it pissed me off. Like, no one really had my back. And besides that one girl who told him that he was dead ass wrong. The girl who also was called a bitch, she's so slow. He wasn't talking to me. He said, y'all. What the fuck you thought? What do you think y'all mean? Obviously, like, denial is a real thing. But that was really hurtful. I really, like, not as I got older, I'm like, damn, that was really shady. And I remember I would come back, like, before I moved, I would come back, like, for, you know, football games and stuff. I would come back and see him at homecoming, and, like, he was so, like, rude. He had his nose up, like, he didn't want to be, like, like, hi. Like, we had beef. And I'm like, bro, you a grown-ass man, and you over here, you don't know how to, like, own up to what you did. You were wrong. You would have never called nobody else no bitch. Nobody else but me, because you knew. There was a reason why you did it. Like, people have argued. There have been people who damn near fought in that room. There have been people who have fought in that room, and no one else got called out their name. And it's sad. Like, looking back, a lot of jokes that were made that were very inappropriate. The teacher shouldn't have been making. Neither should the students have. And nothing was checked. I feel bad because I'm not the only person who have similar feelings or similar, like, attitudes towards this certain teacher. If I ever was to go back, like, I would go back and confront him and be like, you got, like, fucked up, bro. Like, you dead ass called me a bitch, and you continue to teach here. You continue to be the same way because no one ever checks you. Like, he deserves to be checked. He deserves to be fired, honestly. But I'm not even going to go there because it's not even worth it. Like, it really isn't no more unless he's still continuing that behavior. But a part of me feels like I should have spoken out. You know, it was a room full of people. They all heard. You know, they all heard. And I know people who, to this day, will agree that they heard what the fuck I heard and that he called me a bitch. And he, you know, I went through my own stuff, and it's been years. I'm over it now. Principals have been changed. You probably don't even work there. But it was just basically, like, wrong. It was still wrong. And I remember, like, damn, he really called me a bitch. Like, I ain't never had, like, a situation like that happen. Like, so it was really weird. And I don't know, like, hopefully no one gets offended. If you do, fuck you. I don't care. Like, it's true what happened, and those who know him, if you side with him, that's on you. Like, I'm not telling this story to get clout or to do nothing. I really don't care. It's just something that, like, who else could say that? Like, oh, my high school teacher called me a bitch. Like, so yeah, I'm gonna tell that story. But overall, I had a great high school senior year, kind of, for what it was worth. And I still was happy with or without that kind of acceptance. So it was what it was. I really didn't care enough to push the issue. And had I told my mother, my mom probably would have went to jail. So it wasn't really worth it at that point. It really wasn't. So I just went on, moved on. And sometimes I would still think about it. Like, even now, like, 10-year high school reunion, if I was to go back, I'd probably go back like, bro, check, like, because he real shady. And that shit is not cool. Like, he was Shady Boots before I knew what Shady Boots was. And, like it was just weird and crazy. And I felt so disrespected. And that shit was not cool. So, yeah, that was my story time about how my teacher called me a bitch. And he didn't even apologize, like, at first. Took him weeks to apologize. And it was a week when at that. So I did not accept it. Period. But yeah, I will be back in a few days with a makeup tutorial. So yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, thumbs up, leave a comment. You can share and subscribe. Peace.